Do you know that delay is not denial? What do I mean? That thing that you have been waiting for a very long time, but isn't coming into fulfillment. You can't see how it's going to happen. I'm here to encourage you not to give up on it. And if you need a source of encouragement, let's take a look at the Bible. Okay, so some biblical scholars believe that when David was anointed to be king by Samuel, he was around 15 years old because he was still a young man. And the Bible tells us that when David took the throne, when he became king over Israel, he was 30 years old. So it took around 15 years for his dream to come into fulfillment. And when he finally took the throne, he reigned over Israel for 40 years. Let's take a look at another great man in the Bible, Joseph. So when Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers, he was around 17 years old, according to some biblical scholars. But then you can Google this information and see for yourself. So the Bible tells us that when Joseph became prime minister over Egypt, he was also 30 years old. So it took Joseph around 13 years for his dream to come into fulfillment. Do you see a pattern? And after Joseph became the prime minister of Egypt, he helped to rule over Egypt for 80 years. So we know that both David and Joseph were influential men in the Bible, and they did great things for the people of Israel. And the most important thing that we need to take from this is that during their years of waiting on God, they never gave up their faith in God. They always knew that one day whatever God had promised them would come to pass. Because we know about the story of Joseph. Even when he was being tempted by Potiphar's wife, he didn't give in. He held firm to his faith in God. And for David, even when things seemed like they were not going to come to pass the way he was promised, when Saul was actually after David's own life, he still believed in God. He never gave up his faith in God. So, even for you, if you're still in that waiting period where the thing that you want most isn't happening and doesn't seem as if it will happen in this lifetime, don't give up your faith. Keep believing in God and believe that God will make a way for you, even if there seems to be no way. Keep believing and don't give up. And so, does this mean that your blessing is going to take 15 years or 13 years like David and Joseph to come into fulfillment? I definitely hope not. But as in, the thing you need to learn is that just keep holding on and believe that is going to come through for you. And something else, oh, you're going to love this. So when God's blessing finally arrives, it comes and it stays for a long time. Like when God blesses you with something that you've been praying for a very long time, He wants to bless you with it today, and then by tomorrow you are struggling about the same issue again. When God blesses you, the blessing lasts for a very long time, and chances are that even the people in your family are going to benefit from your blessing. Look at David, for example. When he became king, he ruled over Israel for the next 40 years, and then after that his sons became kings, and then the rest of the story. And then when Joseph became prime minister at 30, he ruled as prime minister over Egypt for 80 years. That's a very long time. So when God finally blesses you with what you've been waiting for the most, trust me, you're going to enjoy it for a very long time. Don't give up.